Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some more game-changing news for Tesla stock. And as many of you know, in the past, we have discussed sales numbers, big movements that they're making in the future, such as expansions, more vertical integration, and like I said, sales numbers with the Model 3 being the highest sold vehicle in California out of everything, which was very impressive. And then we also have the Model 3 being very popular in the UK. And so with these videos, I like to share many aspects of Tesla in terms of news that I think is very valuable for you all and myself to know as well as investors, and if you're just a Tesla fan. So this is valuable information that I always like to share with you all whenever I see news on this company. So anyways, if you all do enjoy these Tesla videos, please make sure to drop a like on the video. That really does help me out. But anyways, getting into this stock right here today, as you can see from the portfolio itself, considering that Tesla is a large part of my portfolio, because of that, we are seeing a pretty significant red day. And Microsoft and Apple aren't doing very well either. But with Tesla stock, we have the largest drop that I think I've seen for this stock in a while now. We are at minus 4.83% for today. So just checking out the stock price, we are almost nearing below $1,400. So there is an opportunity for those of you out there that are waiting on the sidelines to buy in. There is an opportunity for today. Now, there is the possibility that it could go down even more tomorrow, or it could go back up. So that's always the thing with the stock market. It's a lot more difficult to predict the short-term future than the long-term. So if you would like to get into Tesla stock, there is some opportunity today. Like I always say, I look at red days as opportunities, not as a bad thing. It just means the stock is on sale more than it was the previous day. So like I said, if you are interested in the stock and you're on the sidelines right now, there might be an opportunity today to get it at a cheaper price. But with that, I just wanted to address the stock price. Like I said, it's down 4.81%. That's around minus $72 on the share price right now. So I am wondering by the end of the day if we could actually see this around at like minus 6, minus 7%, because it seems like this is a trend right here. I think this is really weeding out the weak investors, the investors that weren't going to hold long term anyways. Because in my opinion, if you just bought this stock and you sell because of a 5% drop or something like that, then I personally don't think those investors were in it for the long term anyways. If a 5% drop changes your whole long term vision for the future, then I don't think you were really a long-term investor on this stock. I think it was more of a hype-driven purchase. So like I said, the great thing about days like today is that it weeds out the weaker investors, and that the people that are purchasing this stock on days like today have that long-term vision. So as you weed out the weaker investors, then that just means the stronger investors get more shares, meaning that a lot of these long-term vision shareholders are more likely to hold on to their shares instead of panic sell them during times like these in the future. So I view that as a really positive thing. This is basically transitioning shares to investors that have that long-term vision and ones that will likely not panic sell like the newer investors here. So I personally like days like today. It weeds out the weaker investors. But anyways, now that we've addressed the share price for today, let's go ahead and check out this Tesla news. And I think this is actually some really interesting news. It's a little bit different from what we've been talking about recently, but it does have something to do with sales. So let's go ahead and check that out. And this was actually a really popular article recently released, and this was from Green Car Reports, and also thanks to author Stephen Edelstein for the information. And as this article states, used Teslas sell very fast compared to other models, data confirms. So just from this article title alone, it's basically emphasizing that used Tesla vehicles are very popular. Now, we can kind of make this assumption based on the Model 3 sales in California, with it being the highest sold vehicle in California. And as we know, there is this EV transition happening where a lot of people are transitioning from normal gas engine vehicles, ICE vehicles, to electric vehicles. And when you think about electric vehicles, really the most popular company that you get the most out of your money for is Tesla, at least in my opinion. And a lot of us, including myself, are expecting in the future for a full transition to EVs. Yes, there's always going to be some outliers with people that own ICE vehicles, but keep in mind, most of those people that will refuse to transition to electric vehicles, it will either just be because of familiarity and them not being willing to transition to new technology and have to learn it, or it will simply just be some individuals that just love the old cars, just like how we have people that love cars from back in the 60s and the 70s. It will be people that love the sound of the exhaust, people that love muscle cars, sports cars, and things like that. So we can expect some outliers, but the general trend, in my opinion, is that we will almost have a full transition from ICE vehicles to electric vehicles. And when Tesla is at the top of this electric vehicle sector, then that just means that Tesla will likely have a significant market share as this transition goes further. So with this, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about these used vehicle sales. Keep in mind, this goes a lot more in depth than just the title alone. So stay tuned, because this isn't just about the numbers. This is about how fast a used vehicle actually sells. And it shows the sales chart with Tesla's position in comparison to some other companies as well. So let's go ahead and check this out. It states right here, as overall demand for used cars slowed due to the Rona, used Teslas are selling faster than other electric cars. According to a new analysis from iSeeCars.com, the Tesla Model 3, Model X, and Model S were the top 3 fastest selling electric cars, while the Model 3 was the fastest selling used car overall, including both electric and internal combustion models. Not only is that impressive because all 3 of those models, just not one of the Tesla models, but 3 Tesla models were put into that list of the top EVs, but another impressive thing is that the Model 3 was the fastest selling used car overall. So we're talking about the #1 spot, and this is not only the fastest selling used car overall in the EV category, but this includes both electric and internal combustion models. So that includes the Model 3 being versus the Toyota Camry, the Honda Accord, and many other popular vehicles. So this information is absolutely huge in my opinion. We've talked about sales and things like that, but when it comes to used vehicles, this is very important, because there's a lot of people that prefer to buy used cars, because as we know, as soon as you drive a brand new car off the lot, it loses a lot of its value. So there's a lot of frugal individuals that would love to buy an EV that are likely to buy a used car rather than a new one, just because they save a little money on that value. So I think this is hugely important. And just getting farther into this article, it says that is based on an analysis of vehicles from model years 2015 through 2019 listed on that website, which used 2 data sets for this analysis. One from November 2019 to February 2020 represent pre-Rona trends, and another from March 2020 to June 2020 gave a tally of sales during the Rona. The sales trend is in part a classic case of supply and demand. So keep in mind, these data sets factor in 2 different worlds. We have a world before the Rona, almost a completely different society than what we have right now, and then we have the world that we have today. So that is March 2020 to June 2020. So a lot has happened, as we know, in comparison of these 2 dates, November 2019 to February 2020, and then the other date, March 2020 to June 2020. So like I said, almost 2 different worlds, 2 different world perspectives, and the data is still relevant. So I feel like this data alone addresses some potential criticism of this study. So normally, let's say if we just did the data either pre-Rona or post-Rona, if all of the data was either before or after instead of both, then that would probably be a criticism of this study, whereas this actually does a pretty solid job of comparing 2 different societies, 2 different worlds almost, and so that kind of addresses a potential criticism that would have been there if it was either just post or pre rather than both. So I think that's very valuable, and as it states right here, the Model 3, which was the automaker's least expensive vehicle, had the highest number of pre-orders of any car ever produced, and the long wait time helped further drive in high demand for the vehicle, which has been sustained in the secondary marketplace, iSeeCars.com CEO Fong Li said in a statement. So even this person's statement right here not only emphasizes the high demand in the used market, but the very high demand in the new market as well. And with this statement, it just emphasizes even more how Tesla is succeeding right now, not only in the new market, but in the used market. So this is very important in my opinion. And just to show you all the data from this sales, this is actually from the website iSeeCars.com. So as it states right here, fastest selling used cars, iSeeCars identified the top 10 fastest selling used cars, which sell 1.3 times as fast as the average used vehicle. Tesla tops the list with the most vehicles with 3, and a mix of vehicle types across all price points comprised the remainder of the list. So, as it states at the top of the study, top 10 fastest selling used vehicles, the Tesla Model 3 is at number 1 with an average of 29.3 days to sell. The BMW X6, 43 days to sell. So keep in mind, even the second place is much higher than the first place. Like if you compare the second, third, and fourth place, these are fairly similar in terms of days. So there's not too much of a distance between these second, third, and fourth places, whereas the first and second place, that's a big difference. That's like 13 days. And this is kind of similar to the market share news piece that I discussed on the channel just a few days ago, where Tesla was at number 1 for the market share, and then there was like another brand for number 2, but there was a huge difference between 1 and 2. But like 2 and 3 and 4 were pretty similar, just like we're seeing in this chart right here. So this chart emphasizes once again how far Tesla is ahead of their competitors, and I think this is huge. This is something to really pay attention to if you're looking for the long term. If Tesla is already ahead this significantly in terms of not only sales, but their battery metrics, their full self-driving technology, and of course their software, then that's something you all should be paying attention to, in my opinion. Not only are they ahead in those factors, but they're ahead in sales, they're ahead in market share, and they're ahead in time to sell as well. So as we go down farther here, the Tesla Model X is a little bit similar to these numbers as well, at 47.6 days to sell for a used vehicle, and then the Tesla Model S hits number 10 at 50.7. So all of these numbers are fairly similar. There's not like a huge difference between these numbers. Actually, if you think about it, the number 2 rank compared to the number 10 rank, there's only like a 7 days difference, whereas the number 1 rank compared to the number 2 rank is like a 13-day difference, almost a 14-day difference. So that's actually huge. Just think about what I just said right there. But I just wanted to show you all this chart just as a visual representation. I think that gives you all a better idea, including myself. So really pay attention to this chart right here. I think that's very important. And then just addressing the rest of the article, it states right here, the Model X is also in relatively short supply, having only started deliveries at the end of 2015, the analysis noted. Despite a larger supply owing to its longer production run, the Model S remains in demand due to competitive pricing, according to the analysis. This is not a new phenomenon, as prices on Tesla models have been tracking high for many years. Partly it's because with all of the improvement through the over-the-air updates, plus relatively low battery degradation, older cars fare surprisingly well. So this is another important point also, noting that even the older Tesla models have improved over time. So really the old Tesla models aren't even comparable to the other EVs of that time. Like we say all the time, with the 2012 Model S, there are still current vehicles right now that can't compete with those metrics. So that's really impressive. And as it says right here, there's still a lot of value in the older cars because, as we know with the updates, they improve over time. And so there's a lot more value there. It's not like a 2007 Toyota Camry where it basically stays the same and never changes or improves. A solid vehicle for sure, but it never changes or improves. And so that's basically where the article ends, but I found a lot of value in this article. Like I've mentioned previously, you have the huge gap between the first and second spots from the Tesla Model 3 to like the BMW X6 or whatever it is. So once again, this article emphasizes that this EV transition is happening, and with this transition, Tesla is way far ahead. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did and found the information valuable, please make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out. And as always, feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below with my referral link. If you sign up with my link, then you can get some free stocks, especially with Webull right now. You can get up to 60 free stocks depending on how much you deposit. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.